Hey everybody, it's Mr. Bird here. We are going to talk about Christopher Columbus and Alonso Alvarez de Pineda. This is part two of our Explorers unit, all right? While Spanish explorers such as Hernan Cortez helped Spain with its quest to take control of America, other European explorers searched for a water route to Asia. Besides conquering people and stealing all of the land and wealth, finding water routes to Asia was one of the most important missions of the early European explorers. The explorer who discovered such a waterway would become famous for finding an easier way to get to Asia. In Asia, jewels, silk, and spices not available in Europe could be purchased. The only way to get these items was to buy them from Italian traders. Italian traders were the only Christian traders who had good relations with the Ottoman Empire, making them the only Europeans able to use the Silk Road. Many famous men tried and failed to find water routes to Asia. In 1271, Marco Polo traveled overland to Asia. He left from Italy and sailed through the Mediterranean Sea before crossing the mountains and deserts of Asia, known as the Silk Road. Marco Polo's journey took him 24 years, but he finally made it back and forth to China. All right. Portuguese explorers searched for an eastward water route to Asia. They sailed around the tip of Africa. Violent storms in this part of the Atlantic Ocean made the route very dangerous. In 1492, Christopher Columbus headed westward to find the East Indies in Asia. After more than a month of sailing, Columbus and his crew sighted a group of islands. Columbus thought they had reached the East Indies in Asia. Actually, they had only sailed to the islands just south of Florida in the Caribbean Sea. Of course, today these islands are known as the West Indies. All right, quick fact. Europeans brought the pig to North America, and early explorers carried all that livestock, of course, on their journeys. Historians believed that this is how the first pigs got to America. Many Spanish explorers just let their pigs roam freely around the grass and roots so they could feed themselves. Many of these pigs got lost and never made it back to Spain or just got completely lost from their colonies. They lived in the wild, and the pig population in America grew very quickly because there was nothing else like them there, all right? And they were free for anyone who could hunt them and catch them. Okay, now let's talk about Alonso Alvarez de Pineda. In 1519, the same year that Hernan Cortez sailed to the Gulf of Mexico, Spanish explorer Alonso Alvarez de Pineda began searching for a northern waterway to the Pacific Ocean. They really didn't understand how large North America was and how big it was, so they thought maybe they could just sail around it to get to Asia. Okay, Pineda could become famous, of course, by finding a shorter, safer route to Asia. Of course, we know now that the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans are not connected by water, except for at the very top and the very bottom, and they are separated by the continent of North America and South America. So, Pineda's discoveries. Let me scoot myself over here. Okay. Pineda sailed from Jamaica into the Gulf of Mexico with 3 ships and more than 250 men, heading west from Florida. Pineda sailed along the Gulf Coast. After several months, he reached a large river lined with Native American villages and palm trees. Pineda ended up naming this particular river Rio de las Palmas, or the River of Palms. Some historians believe that Pineda discovered the Rio Grande. Others believe that Pineda found the Rio Soto la Marina, 150 miles farther south than that. Regardless of the actual river, Pineda claimed the entire area for Spain. Okay, Pineda and his crew were the first Europeans to see the Texas coast. More importantly, Alonso Alvarez de Pineda made the first map of the Gulf of Mexico. His map is considered the first document of Texas history. Let's see here. Next slide. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I got to move myself out of the way again. Yeah, weird. Okay, so this is Pineda's map down here. After the accomplishments of Hernan Cortez and Pineda's discoveries, New Spain was interested in claiming more land and gathering more wealth. From the Spanish capital of Mexico City, treasure seekers were sent out in every direction. Excuse me. Rulers of New Spain were eager to hear stories of lands that could be conquered and treasures that could be found. Spanish explorer Cabeza de Vaca, who we'll talk about in part three, um, offered such a story. Now let's talk about how we named America. In the early 1500s, an Italian explorer by the name of Amerigo Vespucci became the first explorer to discover North and South America were actually separate from Asia. Okay, in honor of these discoveries, German map maker Martin Waldseemüller, yes, that's Waldseemüller, printed a wood block with the name America spread across the southern continent of this new world. More than 1,000 copies of Waldseemüller's map were sold in Europe. In 1538, a map of the world was created. It honored Amerigo Vespucci by naming the northern and southern continents of the New World North and South America. And this is the Waldseemüller map. So that's pretty much the stuff we need to know for, excuse me, Pineda. And it's kind of important because Pineda is considered one of the first Europeans ever to touch Texas soil. And I think this is kind of interesting that, back in my day, a lot of this was covered up and nobody really talked about the Latin or Spanish contributions to Texas. So I hope to continue to talk about this as we finish up explorers and move on to Spanish colonial and then Mexican independence periods. All right. Thank you very much, guys. See you on the flip side.